Folks, welcome to Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. I'm your host, Mark Rigodana, and with me as always,
Richie Byrne. How are you, brother?
I'm good. I just got back from a long car trip. I was in Ohio for the beginning of this week. I got a new
You
car.
don't have your background.
Yeah, I'm at home, but I'm in the back room.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. I was podcasting a bunch from my old room that I grew up in, like my bedroom from when I was in high school. And I came up with the nickname that it was the Sadness Factory. It's a very blue collar town. And I was like, this bedroom, the Sadness Factory. It's nice to be back. It's weird, man. Going home's very, very weird. I mean, you grew up in Staten Island, so you're not that far from home.
Yeah, we got rid of the house I grew up in years ago.
Oh.
Every once in a while, I drive by that house. You know, it's very sad.
You ever have the urge to go knock?
No.
No? Just go, hey, can I just check the back room?
I like Paul McCartney. Like someone's going to go, you're not going to believe who came here today.
It's the saddest version of celebrity drop-in. I don't know. He's a comic, I guess.
Yes, he says.
But it was real weird being home. Youngstown's an interesting place. A lot of great boxers come out of Youngstown. A lot of great music's come out of the Youngstown, Cleveland area. But it's kind of where like the Midwest and the East Coast, that's where like the clash is. So it's like the Guido meets the redneck. So it's like a lot of dudes in wife beaters and gold chains.
That explains you. That explains you. It really does.
Dude, I swear to God, like when I moved to New York, I was like, oh, I come from this hardcore blue collar. Everybody back home looks like, like they work in a factory. They look like the brawny man. They're all like self-made. I go back, I'm pumping gas. I look over and I'm like, it's nothing but Guy Fieri and Kid Rock. Like it's the saddest fucking place, man. Oh shit! Yeah. Well, we got a great show today.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. We have this guest. I've known this guy for a number of years, and we just worked together at a gig. And I said, "Dude, you gotta come on to the show." He's like, "And when?" Because he's just that kind of guy. And I know I'm really excited because when he was on in the pre-show just now, when he was backstage, I see that he's a New York Giants fan. So I'm very excited to get him out here. So why don't we just bring him out?
Let's go right to it, man.
This man has not one but two podcasts. He thinks he's me and you.
Two podcasts. And except successful. Anyone could do that.
Yeah, he gets viewers. Whatever. Very successful podcast and great comic and a good guy. Give it up for Paul Virzi, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Virzi.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, man.
Dude. So excited to have you. It's funny, we get nervous when we talk to like guys that are kicking ass. We always get nervous to ask them to come on.
Yeah.
Dude, no, man, being on with like, guys like you guys, and I met Richie. Yeah, here's how great Richie is. Okay. I
feel free to talk as long as you need to, Paul. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
He made such an impression because we were in the way when comics work with each other, they're in each other's head, you're in your own head, you're insecure, all this stuff. And we worked at I believe it was City Steam.
Yeah.
And we were at the bar at City Steam. And the reason why I say here's how great you are is because that was so many years ago. And I remember everything, so many things you said. You told me stories that I remember. I remember that you were going to get the warm-up gig and what Joey Cola said to you about the ship coming in. I remember you said you had a friend who was married to a porn star.
Oh my God. Wow.
Dude, I remember like that's I realized something about people when you know somebody is like, great or like somebody that makes an impression, you remember shit. And
Right.
and if they just fucking don't do it, you're just like whatever. Like this guy, they're bringing nothing to the table. But I remembered so many of the things that you said that night, and we had a drink, and then I did not see you until fast forward like 3 months ago or whatever it was
Yeah.
at Mick Thomas, who's a good friend of mine, at his his gig there in Long Island,
Right.
and it was great, man. So I'm happy to be on your guys' show.
Yeah, man. Me too. I was thrilled. I was like, "Oh, Paul Virzi, cool." And I said to Mark, I go, Paul, I'm going to work with Paul Virzi. Mark's like, "You got to get him on the show. He's got to come on the podcast." So it was so cool to have you. And you were so, and I hated you that night because you killed, even though you think you won. Because it was a hard audience. We both thought you were far away from the audience, Mark. Like there was a moat. You know what I mean? And
nothing like a comedy moat. You chip shot your jokes to him.
Yeah. And they were spread out, and he was just going up there and he was riffing, and I'm sitting there going, I am so dead for 40 minutes now.
The funniest thing though was we like when Mick left the room to host. I think I just go, man, what the fuck is it like?
We could just run.
Like because it's anytime you do a gig where the comedy show is kind of second, like. Not saying that they're not into it and that I know they know what they're paying for, but when they got their backs turned and you got wine being poured and people are having hors d'oeuvres, they're going to have their good time anyway. They're also nervous that a comic is on stage, maybe going to talk to them. So then they really kind of do the so I had a great time, but I knew that I just needed to take the room. I knew that I needed to really do it. But yeah, there was a huge gap of the first row. So you really felt alone.
Have you guys ever done a wedding?
I did once.
I never did a wedding, but I did like the wedding room, like banquet type shit, but I never did a wedding.
No, I did a wedding. Mark, you did it. It is the dumbest idea in the world. Of all the private parties where they go, we should have a comic, and you go, why? Why would you bring a wedding? Somebody's wedding. And I did this wedding, and the bride, I grabbed the bride and groom, and I'm like, all right, tell me some things about yourselves. Where'd you meet? Just trying to get something, right? So I go up to do the show, and nobody's listening. Nobody, why is this guy talking? Is that her brother? Who is he? And at one point I go, the bride, so where'd you guys meet? And she tells me, and I go, and how long were you together before you decided to get married? And she goes, I just told you all this before you went up. She actually said that to me. Like I was annoying her.
Oh my, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny the shit that we say yes to? If you look back on it's almost like we hate ourselves and we feel like we deserve, because the idea, and here's the other thing. People remember if like the hors d'oeuvres sucked at a wedding. People talk about it for years. For fucking I still talk about so Giannis Papas, good friend of mine, great comic. He got married at that Ohika Castle in Long Island.
Long Island, yeah.
Dude, they had a dessert room. I'm not kidding you. I've never, to this day, I've never seen their dessert was a room, and around the whole room, the entire room was just tables of different cakes, pies, cookies, and the whole room. And I never, and all we do is talk about it. But you've also been to weddings where people talk about things that were bad.
Yes.
Right. And a comedian that nobody knows
or cares.
And they're eating and drinking. And now that now the festivities really turn up because they're dancing. And now all of a sudden, let's stop and let so-and-so go up and talk. Yeah. And we say yes to it for the money. I mean, hopefully you got paid good.
I got paid pretty good. Yeah.
I told you in the introduction.
The whole time you're there, though, you're going, man, this isn't worth the money. This isn't worth the money. You know what I mean? Why did I say yes to? And then as soon as you get the money, you go, all right, I'll do it again. I'll do it.
Yeah, because you know what they do? They always give just enough to where, like, it's like, all right, man, like, you know, where you kind of you're like, all right, it's just enough to put me through this. But in your mind, you're like, if I had another 1,500, it would really be.
Then it would be worth.
Yeah, then I really wouldn't care if I ruined your wedding.
Well, I'm gonna tell a winning story. I usually never have a winning story. 99% of my things is, and then I ran out of there. But this was they did it right. What the couple met at a comedy show, and the comedian did a thing and introduced them, and then after the show they actually talked and they actually dated, and then he proposed to her at a comedy show. So the best man was given a speech, and he go at the end of his speech, he goes and he told the story about the comedy club and a comedian, and he goes, "We couldn't figure out who the comedian was who actually introduced you, so we got this guy," and he brought me out. I came out, and I just did like 10 minutes of, but they didn't want me to do like just bride and groom stuff. They said just do regular stand up. Everybody's sitting there. It's during the speeches, and then they're going to bring out cake. So I did like 10 minutes. And they paid a lot of money for that 10 minutes.
And you just did regular bits?
Yeah, it's just they wanted just regular stand-up comedy.
Were they listening?
Yeah, the crowd they were good because they knew comedy kind of worked with the couple. And so they were really good, but that was my one and only experience. But as soon as you two start talking about weddings and the nightmare, I'm like, oh shit, I'm glad I didn't think of that before I went, because I would have probably canceled on him.
Oh, yeah.
I got a great story. I was at the Brokerage here in Long Island, Brokerage Comedy Club. And at the time, I was engaged to my wife, and we hadn't, how can I put this? I don't want to go into the whole story, but I owed her I hadn't really asked her to marry me. We ended up getting the rings because we were like 10 years in and I'd been putting it off. And my wife woke up one day on her birthday and was like, "We're going to get the fucking ring today."
The consolation prize.
She got the ring, and I thought, oh, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought. And she goes, "Bullshit, you still have to find a way to propose. You have to find a way to propose." I'm like, oh, fuck me. So a few months go by. I still haven't done it. So I'm at the Brokerage on a Friday night, and the owner, Gary Smith, comes up and says, "Hey, this guy wants to propose to his girlfriend tomorrow night. Should I have the MC do it, or do you want to do it?" And I'm like, I've never done that. I don't know if you guys ever have, but I've never been in the middle of that, like as a comic. And I go, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. He goes, all right, I'm going to set it up. So I'm excited. I'm like excited that I'm going to help this guy propose to his girlfriend, right? So he comes in, they got like 10 friends. They show up. He walks in the door and he goes, "Forget it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it." And she goes, and the owner goes, "Why?" He goes, "She saw the box sticking out of my pocket when I went." The idiot had a box in his pocket. It was like protruding. He goes, "So she knows what I was going to do. So just fuck it. I'll do it another time. Fuck it." So I go on stage and they're right in front. And all I can see is this guy and this girl, and she's pissed. She's pissed, right?
And
so,
Richie can see the box.
So, dude, he still had it. So at one point, I tell the audience this story. And I go to the guy, I go, "You're a fucking moron." And everybody goes crazy. And I go, "You know what? Do it anyway. Come up and do it now." And he goes, "No." I go, "Come on, do it now. Do it now." And he goes, "No." And I go, "If I do it, will you do it?" Now, I forgot to tell you, this is the club I met my wife in. I met her at the Brokerage. I go, "If I do it, will you do it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, my fiance's in the back of the room and I haven't found a good way to propose. So I'm going to propose to her right now. And you saw the guy's eyes, like he didn't know I was really serious. So she didn't have the ring with her. We took a key ring. And my wife came on the stage. I told the audience, this is where I met her. And I proposed to her with the key ring, right? And my wife's crying. And I look at the guy like, let's go, let's go. So the guy gets up and he proposes to the girl. And she says, yes. The place goes crazy. But after the show, my wife and I went out for a drink with them. This girl was such a bitch. She was so nasty. And my wife turns to me at one point and goes, "What did you do?"
Oh, that's fucking great. Oh, that's such a great story. Oh, that poor bastard.
Oh, he was dead. Oh,
I mean, he's it's got to be divorced by now, no?
yeah. But I mean, when my wife is going, "What did you do?"
Oh, that's so fucking great.
Like Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, I tried.
Oh, that's so fucking great. I have the worst. I did it in my album, so if anybody here, but I have the worst proposal story ever. Okay, it's so ridiculous what I did. First of all, I was nervous. Like I was nervous. I got this thing on my hand. I'm gonna just take it off. So,
This thing.
yeah, I got this fucking anyway, dude. So I buy this ring down in the Diamond District in Manhattan. I'm nervous as all hell. More nervous than maybe anything I've done in stand up. Like to that level of nerves. And we go to a restaurant, and I wrap this thing up in my sock and I roll it a lot. Right, so it's like so I wore 2 different socks. One was longer than the other. And I put the ring and I wrap it in the longer sock and it goes and it's down there. And I mean, I'm a mess. We're sitting there. I just kept looking around like I was going to rob the place because I just was so fucking like, she knew something was off. Right.
Mhm.
And I'm going, how can I do this? How can I do this, man? It was a really nerve wracking. The waiter comes over, right? There's like a basket of bread. And I'm just thinking, how the fuck am I going to, how am I going to do this? So I'm a wreck. So now I'm like, all right, maybe what I'll do is I'll put the ring in the bread basket under bread. And then when she takes a piece of bread, she'll see, and then I'm like, then I saw like the Mexican guy, like taking the baskets in the back. And I'm like, no, dude, I can't have it. God forbid he takes it. And, not because he's Mexican, relax. I know. Yeah, I'm not trying to be, I'm just saying I saw the Mexican man taking the baskets back there. So I go, you know what, Paul, you got to go to the bathroom and regroup, dude. I was a mess. So I walked to the bathroom and I literally had like a Vince Lombardi pep talk to myself. I go, listen, she fucking loves you. You know, she's saying yes. The ring is incredible. You're going to stop being a bitch. You're going to go out there. You're going to fucking give her the ring. You're going to say, will you marry me? Everything's going to be great. And I kind of, yeah. And I walk back to the table. I sit down, and right when I look at her, all of that courage just gone again. I'm back to square one of nerves, right? Now, there's a little TV in the corner of the restaurant, and it's just playing ESPN highlights, right? And I'm just like, my nervous tick was watching these ESPN highlights as I'm sitting across from her. And I still got the ring, and she's like, you were acting so weird. So I look up, and this guy on the Dodgers, Sean Green, he hit 4 home runs in one game.
Yes, he did.
So this is the day after that. This is when I'm going to do, right? So I'm looking and I'm just talking and I'm just going, like, my nerves were making me talk about shit that didn't matter. So I go, oh, babe, this is great, man. This guy, you see this? I go, this guy on the Dodgers hit 4 home runs last night in one game. It's really rare. And my wife goes, oh, that's awesome. And I swear to God, my brain just goes, now, do it now. I take the ring and I go, not as awesome as this. And I put it on the table and I just lean back and she was confused. I said, not as awesome as this. And she's staring at it. And and then I just started describing the ring. I go, no, the clarity. I didn't even propose yet. I start going, no, it's the clarity. There's no inclusions. It was just this big fucking mess. And she goes, you have to get on a knee and propose. I'm like, yeah, no, I know. And I awkwardly got on a knee and asked. And so now,
oh my God,
not as awesome as this is always our. Like Sean Green, I owe Sean Green, I guess, a thank you, because it was like I was at least able to say. It was like the least romantic. Like, thank God there was a TV on, but yeah. So I actually did that story on stage once, and it ended up working. So it ended up being a part of my first hour. But that's 100% true, man. I just said not as awesome as this, but the funny thing is, I put it down and then I leaned back as if I just hit a game winner, like at Madison Square Garden. Like, not as awesome as, like, she would be like, oh my God. Yeah, brutal. Absolutely the worst.
So I didn't have a good catchphrase, but same kind of thing. I took my wife out to this park. I had it all planned, and we got to the gazebo. We're in Auburn, New York. I take out the ring, and I just handed it to her. She looks at it and goes,
Yeah.
"Well, are you gonna ask?" Like, "Oh yeah. So like I thought this was enough. I don't know."
No, it's really so nerve-wracking and scary. But you guys made me laugh about. I wanted to tell you the hell gig, because you were just talking about the weddings and the hell gig. Do you guys know who Don Gavin is?
Oh
Sure.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
legend, right?
Oh, love him.
There's a legendary Don Gavin story. If you heard it, stop me. But
No, tell it. No
I
matter.
heard this, and this is so great. You want to talk about a hell gig? He shows up to the address to a gig, and it's like a park. It's outside, right? And there's just people outside on a park, and there's benches and stuff. And he shows up, and there's like a bunch of people, and he's looking. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm the comedian." And they send a lady over, and the lady goes up to him. She goes, "Oh, thanks so much for coming." He goes, "Yeah, I'm just a little confused. Where am I performing?" And she points. She goes, "Do you see that picnic table with those people?" She goes, "Yeah, you're performing right over there at that picnic table for those people." And he goes, "Oh, all right, let me just go to my car and get my props." And he just left. And just never came back. And I'm like, that is the greatest. Like, I wish more of us did that.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God,
keep
yeah.
that. I'm glad you told me that, because you're always looking for that out. Like, there is that gig where you go, if I could come up with a way to get away from this, I would. And that's it. Let me go to the car and get my props.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the story? I don't know who it was on stage bombing. And then they said, "Do you guys like puppets?" And the crowd goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, I'll be right back. I got to get my puppet." And just fucking left. But it was at a club.
Oh, that's great. No, that is so great. It's like, what did you think?
I think you're right,
great.
though. People need this. The comics need to start saying, like, "No, fuck you. I don't need the money that bad."
Yeah, well,
But the problem is we do.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's like levels to where we're at. And when you're newer or coming up, I remember one of the first gigs Tony Camacho ever sent me on. Okay. I was like so new. And Tony goes, "You're going to do this restaurant in Staten Island." Okay. And I go, "Yeah, all right." He goes, "It's $150. Now I'm psyched. It's a Friday night. I'm going to make $150. I just, I'm first started getting paid doing comedy on a weekend. And I show up, and I shit you not, the owner walks up, and it's like a restaurant, but almost looks like a diner inside. And the owner walks up, and he goes, "Yeah, I didn't want to do this." And that's the first words out of his mouth. He goes, "Yeah, I didn't want to do this."
That makes you feel good.
He goes, "I wanted to get a couple of local guys so they bring their friends and family. So I know there's a crowd. Nobody knows you guys." And he goes, "And listen, I swear to God, I'm just sitting there. TVs are on. People are eating." He goes, "Listen," he goes, "we don't have a microphone." I swear to God, he said this. He goes, "Listen, we don't have a microphone. I just wasn't going to buy one. But listen," he goes, "there's a Radio Shack down the road if you want to buy it, but it's going to be on your dime, not mine." And I'm going like, should I be here? What, should I have left the house? And two other comedians showed up. Who was it? It was Scott Papacuri.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen
and another guy with him, and they were like, "Ah, let's do it. Let's just do it." And I'm going like, "Dude, there's no mic. We're gonna have to." And he's like, and I'm like, "All right." And it was like, and we just stood up. They kept the TVs on. People, I remember this father and son were just cutting chicken parm, trying to look away from me at the TV. And I'm standing in the middle of the restaurant, no microphone, goes, "So my grandmother says it was." And I'm going like, but I guess you have to do that shit, right? You have to do that shit when you're younger, right? Like,
Yeah.
No, it never ends. It never ends. Not when you're younger. Stop the bullshit. A couple of years ago, I did a daytime show for Joey Cola. And Joey was booking it. And it was me and Chris Monty. And it was all these guys who own businesses in Long Island. And it was like, it was unbearably bad. It was some Italian restaurant. And these guys could give a shit about us or anything. And I got there late, and Joey opened the show, and he brought up Monty. Monty started doing all that Italian shit that he has, and the guys dug him. He's telling street jokes. He's doing all that bullshit. So he wins them over, and they kind of laugh. So Monty goes, I gotta go, and they all start booing because he's leaving. Like, I'm dead in the water.
Yeah. I gotta go get another hat to match this suit. I'll see you later, guys.
Yes. So Monty finishes. Joey brings me up. They're fucking talking. They hate me. They're not listening at all. In the middle of it, they bring the food out.
Oh.
So I finally go into street jokes. I start telling street jokes. So I'm kind of getting them with the street jokes because. So I go, all right, old guy walks into a bar. I'm finally kind of got them. And I go, old guy walks into a bar and Cola goes, I did that one. I did that one. He comes running up. I did that one. I mean, the one where the guy, whatever, blah, blah, and Cola goes, oh no, I did the other one. And he walks.
And I just see him strutting off.
Oh my God, that is so fucking funny.
I did that one. Like it fucking matters.
Oh,
Nobody's listening to you. They're not going to listen to me.
I do remember that guy, Jason Pollock. I remember that guy.
Oh, he's so goddamn funny.
Oh, you remember Jason? Jason, yeah, Jason's
from Rascals. Yeah,
Rascals.
yeah. Rascals, yeah. Dina Blizzard was there, I think. Dude, that is so funny. I did that one,
I did that one.
Oh, I did that one during the show. Is the best.
Well, I was with Bill Burr the week after he did the Philly show, and that went viral. Do you guys know the story about he was on in Philly and they were just booing him and
what made him upset was I think what made him
booed Dom Herrera, right?
Right, Dom Herrera was from there and he went before Bill. And they just started booing him. And then I think the story is, I didn't fully, but I think the story was Bill was like, when Dom came off, like, they just booed you, like, fuck these people. And then, like, it was one of those, because that was Dom's, like, I think that's Dom's, like, hometown.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the video had just gone viral of Bill, like, telling them, you guys are so stupid.
Your biggest hero is a fictional boxer.
Yeah. And he and he kept counting down 9 more minutes. 9 minutes. And we're at Dangerfield, and there's like 12 people in the room. This is the week it happened. And we're standing there, we look at the room, and he goes, oh, this is going to suck. And I go, you can't say that ever again, Bill, after what I just saw. Yeah. Never say something to the side.
You had a whole city booing and still did your time.
He actually started winning them over when he just started shitting on him.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the Philly way.
Yeah, I think they booed like 4 people in a row. Like, I think it just became that's what they were gonna do. Like,
right. So yeah, I mean, they would have booed Richard Pryor.
Yeah, like when you're in a situation like that, it's almost like what he did is kind of the only way to win is to not bail out and to just kind of like at least go out swinging.
Yeah, like fuck you people. Yeah, definitely. I mean, what was his name? Black comic who was on. He said, "I'm not afraid of you, motherfuckers."
Bernie Mac.
Oh, Bernie Mac.
I mean,
I ain't afraid of you, motherfuckers.
I'm not afraid of you, motherfuckers. Yeah, that was
Hit it, DJ.
Yeah, kick it.
Yeah, and then he'd start dancing.
Yeah, no, man, that was such a great, like, because it just let them know. It's so nice too, like when you have a moment like that where it's like, even though there's so many more of you, I won. It's you know, like because they see the balls in certain ways. They see your balls.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a bombing situation that stuck with you for years that it's still you have nightmares about? Because I've had a lot of bombings that it's like, fuck it, it's over with. But I've had 2 that were like, they're still there.
It doesn't stick with me. Now it's more of just like a conversation piece. But I had one that was as bad of a bombing. It couldn't be worse. So, and it could have been like in a movie. If a movie director said like, this is what we're going to do, and this is what I need you people, it would have been what mine was that. So
actors would have went, no, this isn't even believable. That's hard.
Yeah. So there's a country club in Westchester called the, what's it called? It's in Sleepy Hollow. Okay. And it's Sleepy Hollow Country Club, like Bill Murray belongs to it. It's an incredible golf course. And what they do every year is they give an award to a member called the Headless Horseman Award. And they all go golfing. It's just dudes, by the way. Okay. They all go golfing on this incredible course. They come in, they shower, they smoke cigars. There's like a guy carving meat, there's shrimp, the whole deal. And then you go into the back and they turn the back into almost like it would almost be like an outdoor wedding reception. But they have all white chairs, ice sculptures, the whole fucking deal. And it's all 1%ers, millionaires and billionaires. Okay. I get a phone call. Hey, man, I do this every year. You want to do it? It's $2,000. You do like 20, 30 minutes. You kind of roast the guy who's getting the thing, but tell jokes. So I'm like, man, I was like, can I bring an opener? Maybe somebody to open up. So I bring my buddy. He was in New York a lot at the time. Jason Lawhead. I said, hey, you go up. I said, I'll get you 1,000. I said, I'll get you 1,000. So you go up and you do like 15. You'll get 1,000. I'll close it. I'll get 2,000. We'll get the fuck out of here, right? We show up and it's all these just arrogant, blazer wearing, loafer wearing, fucking golfers coming off the thing. We're smoking cigars by the, it looked like we shouldn't even been on the property. Okay. And all of a sudden they start making their way towards dinner and the seats. Now we get paid first. I got $2,000 in my back pocket. Jason gets 1,000. The guy did tell me, he goes, I watched you online. This is like years ago. He goes, I watched you online. You seem like this could be something. Maybe, I don't know if this is like, you got to kind of do this and that. I'm like, I'll be all right, man. Whatever. Let me just get my money. I'll do it. But my friend says, why don't you roast the guy? Here's his wife's name. His wife's got, his wife is plastic surgery, drives a car around. So I have all this stuff on this guy and he's sitting at the front table of this outdoor. I can't even tell you enough how grand it was. Picture a movie off of like the water with white chairs and a wedding. That's what it was. But all rich dudes. Jason goes up and starts killing. Look at these guys. Yeah, wives. Yeah, where's your mistresses? Killing. And I'm waiting. I got some dumb collared shirt on that was uncomfortable. I just was before I even got on, I didn't
love this.
So he starts going, all right, guys, I gotta get out of here. And they start going, one more joke.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
And I'm not even up yet, right? So he fucking milks it and crushes. I did tell that cocksucker, don't talk about this, and he did. But I said, leave race out of it. Because they were all white people. He said something, whatever. I don't hold it against him. I'm just kidding, by the way. He did what he had to do.
Right.
So I go on stage. I go, give it up for Jason Lawhead. And I just said something like, if you guys knew what his checking was, if you guys knew what was in his checking account, he'd be dragged off the property. I said something like that. And it got like they liked him so much that they were like, whoa, wow.
Don't shit on our boy.
Right. And dude, I'm just staring out at 25 minutes of pain. I'm just staring at 25 minutes of pain. And all these motherfuckers are in coats. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to come out real quick and I'm going to fucking roast the guy getting the thing. So then I go, hey man, where's this guy, the Headless Horseman? Everybody claps. I go, I said something like, this guy's got his hands on a lot of paper and plastic. And by plastic, I mean his wife Lindsay's fake tits. And all of a sudden you hear them go, whoa, easy. And dude, I'm dying. I'm going, which one of you guys is the guy that hits the ball in the woods and then kicks it out like he didn't hit a bad shot, thinking I'm going to get something? It's quiet. They're looking. I mean, dude, the plane was going down.
Oh, it's the worst.
So I'm like, dude, I'm just going.
I'm feeling this with you right now.
Dude, no. And listen, it gets worse. So I start talking about I'm trying to talk about the Giants and Eli Manning. And then I'm like, wait, did Jason talk about and I'm going through all this stuff and they're looking at me. I had old men in their 70s, white hair going like this. Like it was fucked. So then I start talking about Chris Christie. And I go, that fat fuck can't even, that fat fuck's diet. How's he going to balance a budget? And all of a sudden, Jason tells me later that as I start shitting on Chris Christie, a guy leans over to him and goes, yeah, we just threw him a $3,000 a plate dinner in South Carolina last week.
Oh, God.
So now I'm shitting on their guy, calling him a fat fuck. he can't balance his diet. How's he going to balance a budget? This fat fuck. Now the plane is on fire before it hits the ground. I mean, the engines are fucking, and I'm sitting there, and I mean, I'm eating a dick to the point where an old man goes, all right. And then I go, no, not yet. And it's like that. And then finally, I put the gun in my mouth, pulled the trigger, I bail out, and I just go, well, I did my time. And I go, all right, man, I'm out of here. I literally put the mic back, and luckily there was literally an exit door. I walked with the $2,000 in my pocket. I walked off stage, through a door, into the parking lot, into the car, closed the door. I might have locked the doors in the car. I closed the door, and I'm sitting there, and I just text Lawhead. I go, I'm in the car. Wow. Right. And he gets,
he's going, and he texts back, they just asked me to join.
I think he's like, yeah, I think he was having a beer with him. He gets in the car. I'm fucking, dude, this one stuck with me for a while. I'm in the car driving. All right. And me and Jason get in the car, and we start driving. We drive into the Stand. We're going to a comedy club in the city. And it's just quiet in the car. And just out of nowhere, Jason just leans over to me. He goes, you're a great comic.
That was the Cleveland in Jason.
He just goes, you are a great comic. And we laughed about it. And like, it was one that stuck with me. I'm like, what could I have done? And then the guy reached out, and he goes, hey, man, sorry things didn't work out, but thanks so much for doing it, whatever. As a matter of fact, I guess you could look at it like Jason gave him a show. They fucking hated me. That was probably like, I want to say 7+ years ago or something like that. And it was refreshing, though, because it was one of those where after that ass kicking, I was like, all right, like, if you feel that, the good thing about feeling that in comedy is when you do feel that, it does something to you in a good way where it's like, look, man, it's not really gonna, if I bomb in a comedy club, all right, like I could deal with it a little better now where it's like, but now I just laugh, you know, I laugh it off. It sucked. But dude, I mean, it was just as bad as it could get.
Oh.
Oh, not as awesome as this was killing it. I mean, I had an old man, maybe in his 80s, go, all right, like I just started. I mean, it was just brutal.
You know what's weird? And you mentioned it a couple times in the story, and it's something that's a theme with the two stories I have that are just deaths. Rich and white are the two ingredients to a horrible bombing. I've bombed in front of biker gangs where I was doing it at a rock concert, and I died the worst death. But like some big bearded dude in a denim jacket will go, fuck these people.
Yeah.
But like when you bomb it with a bunch of rich people, they're like, you do this for a living? Oh.
Why? I did a couple of years ago, I did a Jewish resort, whatever, and they were really old Jews. I mean, they were old. And I was coming from the set of the Dr. Oz show. So that means I'd been up since 4:30 in the morning, and I've been working all day. And I get to this gig, and I got to change into a suit. It's just been a long day. And the guy who set the whole thing up claims that he used to be a booking agent back in the 50s. That's how, and he was famous. Like he was, you ever hear of me? You ever hear of me? You know, I'm getting that. You ever hear of me?
You know Henny Youngman?
Yeah, you know, I used to book Henny and Milky. And all,
I gave him this stuff.
So he's killing me. So I'm supposed to do 35 minutes. I go out. These people hate me so much that they're literally going, after the punchline. I mean, So after about 20, I'm supposed to do 35 minutes. After 20 minutes, I go, you know what? This just ain't working.
Are you sure Florentine and Norton weren't in the crowd?
No, I know, because I know it wasn't them. And I go, it's what it reminded me of when Florentine and Norton did that to Voss. And I go, you know, you guys hate me, and I'm not that crazy about you, so let's just call it a wash. And they, I go, I think I'm going to get off. And they start clapping.
Best news we heard all day.
I go into the dressing room and I look like River Seinfeld when the pilot's in the audience. Remember when he comes up and he's all like fucked up? And I'm all fucked up. I'm like, oh my God, that was unbearable. The old guy comes in. I shit you not. He goes, all right, you still owe me 15 minutes. He goes, so I'm going to go out there. I'm going to reintroduce you. I go, I am not going back out there.
Wow.
He wanted another 15 minutes. I go, they don't want me and I don't want them. What is the problem with you? Oh my God.
Get back out there.
They still owe me 15 minutes. Well, you know what's funny, Paul? That might be the only time I ever bailed on a show, but I didn't bail. I said to them, do you want me to keep going? And they were like, no. What are you doing? No, don't worry about it. You tried.
I bailed one time. I was me and Carl LeBove did something and it was great, but it was like a wedding reception with cops and their wives. And then I did a same guy booking. The same guy booked it, and it was just the cops and firemen at this little thing, pitchers of beer, sound system sucked. And I remember I did something, and one guy was like, what is this, the Gong Show? I had no comebacks, and I gave all my good bullets early, so I had no ammo, and I got like 15 left, and it was just a nightmare. And it was the only time in my career I just go, you know what, man? They were like rowdy dicks, and I go, you know what? And I didn't have, I got to put it on me. In retrospect, I put it on me because I didn't have anything left. Because I gave everything that I had early to get them. And I go, you know what? For you people that wanted to see comedy, I'm sorry, but blah, blah. And I ended up getting off, and the guy gives me like some pep talk outside, some shitty booker or whatever. But it was the only time too. It was the only time. But I learned from that. I'm like, I'll never. Now what I would do is the guy that yelled that, just shit on him for 10, 15 minutes. Like, you learn when you're younger, you learn all of the things through the course of your career that you would go back and do. Now you have the ammunition to do that. So instead of me, after that guy said, what is this, the Gong Show, whatever it is, I should have just stopped and be like, you're a fireman? Who are you saving, you fat fuck? And then turn it on. But I didn't know that then. You know what I mean? I didn't know that then. So you got to take off. Right. That is really funny when he said, you still owe me 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Dude, talk about your podcast. I can't believe it's 3:45 already.
No. Well, we don't have to wrap early because.
Virzi's got a heart out. I forgot to tell you.
I got to be out at 5 to 4. But yeah, man, I'm doing the Virzi Effect podcast.
Tell us pandemic, because you've been doing that a long time now, right?
So the Virzi Effect podcast was audio for a long time. And with the pandemic, I built this studio in the house. I put it on Zoom. Now you could get full episodes on my YouTube channel. And the show's doing great. Half the time I'm solo. The other half the time I have a great guest on, just shooting the shit like we're doing now. I also do another podcast called Anything Better with Bill Burr. It's a sports podcast, but it always goes off the rails. And we end up not talking sports anymore. We talk sports and then it just goes off and we just talk life and everything like that.
I was going to say, what does he know about sports? He's from Boston.
Yo, dude, forget it. We get into shit that's like, I mean, we've gotten into arguments we've had a 4-year we've had years of arguments of the same topic, but he's like, it's so good because I'm a New York guy, he's a Boston guy, he's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, and he's kind of like 2 generations ahead of me, really, and like been my mentor. So it's kind of like a really cool relationship. Now that I haven't opened for Bill in years, and so we kind of wanted to stay in contact and friends, and maybe like, hey man, let's do a podcast together because we always talked about it. So we ended up doing that. That's doing great. And then, yeah, man, I'm going to shoot another special this summer. It should be out in the fall. Hopefully we're finalizing that. So, and all my dates, guys, I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be at the Addison Improv outside of Dallas, April 22nd to the 24th. I'm going to be May 20th through the 23rd, Side Splitters in Tampa. And I have a bunch of dates on paulvirzi.com with all ticket links that you could get. So
all right. You just made me feel really fucking old. When you're like, oh, I'm a few generations behind Bill Burr. I was a generation ahead of Bill. And Bill used to open for me, you fuck. So now I feel like I'm 90.
You could probably go back and do that gig that the guy wanted the 15 minutes. You could go back and do it now. You'd crush.
Here's what happened. Bill doesn't even know this. We had the same management back when he was young. When he was I had this manager, and he goes to me, "Hey, I'm taking on this guy from Boston, and I want to send him out with you. He's really good, and I think he can get a lot of colleges. So I want to have him open for you wherever he can. I want him, and it was Bill, and he was great. He was great, and good guy. And within like 4 months, that same manager goes, "Hey, I'm dropping you because I'm too busy with Bill." I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm glad I could help you get him off the fucking ground for you."
Oh, that's fucking great. I can't even believe he was that honest. Like,
"Yeah, I'm dropping you." And then I ran into Billy like a year later, and he's like, "Oh, that guy was the worst fucking manager." He goes, they went to a college showcase, and the guys from South Park were there, Matt Stone and whatever.
yeah.
And the manager's asking these guys for autographs. Billy's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You make me look like an asshole. Can I get your autograph?"
It'd be funny if he like dropped Bill right there and he's like, "You guys need somebody?"
Bill, I really like you, but I'm getting too busy with Trey and Matt over here.
Bill, you're fired. I'm too. Yeah.
I'll tell you a great Bill Burr story. We're at a club, and I don't even remember who the opening act was, but it was me and this guy and Bill, and the guy had just gotten engaged, and I had just gotten engaged, and it was kind of like almost on the same day. And Bill goes, "What the fuck is wrong with this?" Is before he met his wife. "Fuck is wrong with you fucking guys?" And he turns to the guy. He goes, What are you thinking?" And the guy goes, "Hey, you know what? When you meet the one, and that's all there is to it, And then he looks at me, and I go, "Look, if somehow I take off in this business, and women start throwing themselves at me, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't be sure." I go, "But for right now, I'm not taking off in this business." And Billy turns and goes to me, he goes, "You got a shot." He goes, "You're never gonna make it. You and your wife are never gonna." It was the funniest fucking thing I heard.
Oh, that's so fucking great, man.
You got a shot.
Oh, that's so good. Like one reason why I think we hit it off the way that we did was I kind of was the guy young with a family. I decided, like, I did this shit in my 20s, and people were looking at me going like, "Are you fucking nuts?" And I was like, I was never going to let this business not make me have a family and children. Like, I was always going to do that. Like, and I think that, like, not just Bill, but some other one of my friends that wanted to do it were like, "Oh, maybe you can do it." It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm not going to, not do something just because I'm going to tell fucking dick jokes in a strip mall and I'm going to not have a family, And I think that when people see that you can commit and do that, it made people go, "Oh shit, this is not every fucking thing in the world."
Yeah. I mean, Billy Crystal did it. He was married with a kid before he ever really did anything in comedy. You can do it.
I don't like the people who think you can't be happy as a comic, like you can't live a fulfilled life. Like, "Oh, no, you gotta suffer, you gotta miserable," and the anger, and it's like, I can find enough anger and misery and everything else in the world. Let me go home and be happy. Like, please, can I have just a little bit of happiness?
Yeah, the idea that comedians are these miserable, damaged people, I think everybody's damaged and miserable, and I think we just choose
Talk about it.
We choose our talent allows us to kind of put light on it. But I mean, I know fucking guys that are lawyers that are fucking miserable.
Yeah, you're right.
They're miserable. Listen, everybody had some shitty upbringing or in some way, whether it was a parent's divorce, whether it was abuse, whether it was, I don't care what job you do. I think comedians are just the ones that go, "I'm going to go make a room full of people laugh because I was able to deal with it in a way of putting light on it." So I agree with you, Mark. I think that whole, like, you got to be miserable to be good. Yeah, we're all damaged. We're all fucked up. But
everybody,
yeah.
We just don't have a talent for it. We have a talent to figure it out.
some miserable lawyer just can't do what we could do.
Right.
He takes his aggression out at the gym or at the
or in the bar or on his, on his wife.
Or in the courtroom. I mean, in his own
dickhead
way.
at work.
Bury this piece of shit. I'm putting this guy away for years over nothing, because I'm pissed. Whatever,
By the way, lawyers, dude, I remember I had this accident. It was like a fender bender. And it was a little more than that. But I remember we were sitting down and this lawyer comes in all like over the top, buttoned up. And he sits down and he looks at the other lawyer and he goes, "Counselor?" I'm like, it's not a fucking double homicide here. It's like counselor, he's all buttoned up. It's like, let's not get crazy here, dude. You know what I mean? You're handing out tickets. Counselor. It's like, it's not he acted like he was Matthew McConaughey in A Time to Kill. Now imagine she was white. It's like, dude, she hit my bumper.
He's got posters and graphs. I short stopped. I bumped into her. What do I owe you?
At the scene, here's the graph. It's like, no, there was no scene. She fucking stopped. I hit her. Like, who owes who what? All right.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you to look at this. Look at this shaved head bastard.
Did he need new tires? Maybe.
Is he a miserable comedian? Possibly.
We don't know if that bumper was faulty. We may never know.
There may have been a dent before the accident. We don't know.
That's funny.
But I'll tell you what, this case has kept me up and away from my family for months.
I think that would be the greatest lawyer ever.
Real quick, before you go, let's talk a little bit about the logo behind your head.
Yeah.
The greatest fucking football team. What do you think?
There's no Steeler posters behind him.
I will tell you this.
Eli lover or an Eli hater?
Oh, my God, I love him.
Don't you hate Eli haters? Do you know that I have friends who hated Eli so much that they couldn't even give it up when he won? Like, they were still like, yeah, but they only went 10-6. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, I remember. Dude, I was at MetLife Monday Night Football. Giants are playing the Rams. After the Super Bowl, we won. And there's a guy sitting behind me, and he goes, "I'm not sold on this Eli guy." I'm going, dude, he won the Super Bowl last year
against the fucking Patriots.
You know what? You know what game I was at? The night game against New England before the first Super Bowl when they lost. Yeah, the 16-0.
I was at that game too. I was at that game.
You know what's funny?
I was at that game. And we were standing the whole time. Do you remember how we stood the whole time?
Nobody sat for a second, bro. And that was the game. The game meant nothing to the Giants. And Coughlin said, "Is it on the schedule? We're playing it." Remember that? I was like,
and he won the team over. He won the team over by that. Even more crazy is when Coughlin shook Belichick's hand at midfield. Belichick said to him, "I think we'll be seeing you again."
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Paul,
because
it's funny you say that because I was walking out of the stadium with is he there? Did he freeze? Paul, you there?
I'm here. I'm here.
You're frozen in my thing. I'm walking out of the stadium with a bunch of New England fans. And I said to them, I go, "I know you guys are 16-0, but the last few weeks, I go, you guys could get picked off in the playoffs." And they said, "Yeah, we know." And who would have thought it would be in the Super Bowl?
I know.
Giants. Yeah.
I love the moves the Giants are making, and I love, the only question mark I have is the quarterback.
Me too.
But I love that Barkley's coming back. I love the moves. I think we're going to make some. I think we're going to be the team in the East. I really do.
I do too. I don't understand how they're being looked down on, and they are. I mean, there are people saying the Redskins have a better shot, and I don't get that at all.
No, yeah, I don't. I mean,
they definitely don't. Didn't they change their name?
Oh yeah, they're not my bad. My bad.
Redskins won't win at all.
Didn't mean to offend everybody.
The Redskins aren't going to be. No, yeah, I mean, the Redskins definitely have a good defense. That kid Chase Young is an animal, but
Yes,
um,
and
I don't.
they have a great wide receiver and a great running back. I mean, they do. Don't get me wrong. They have all of that. But I love what the Giants did in the offseason. I think they're totally set up for the draft to go out and just get some great guys in the draft. They don't have to worry about, get an edge rusher and get an offensive lineman and let's see what happens.
I agree, man. I think we're going to be okay. I think we got a definite shot. I hope Saquon doesn't rush back either.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I hope you're right. He won't. I don't think he will. But I do. I know you got to get out of here. Thank you so much. Will you come back? Because we barely you were just great, man. Can you?
Dude, I'll come back anytime. And Mark, I actually do like the Steelers. Same family as the Giants.
That's right. Imagine being in that family.
Yeah, they're married. Yeah, and they went on famous actresses. I mean, fuck you guys. Really? You don't have enough money?
Go Giants, go Knicks, and I'm a Yankee fan. That's a story for another day.
All right, cool.
But I will come back to your show anytime, man. It was a pleasure. I appreciate you having me, and thank you so much, man.
Dude,
Thanks,
you're amazing. Thanks for joining us.
So much, man. Good luck with your other show.
Oh, thanks, brother. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man.
Paul Virzi, everybody. How exciting.
Well, listen, does Frank have a show? I don't even know.
Frank doesn't have a show because he's in the middle of a festival.
Oh,
so let's we didn't do the drink or joke.
No, we didn't.
So let's close on that. We both grabbed drinks.
We need to come up with a new name.
Well, dude, it was so funny when you guys started talking sports. I was gonna go. We only have Paul for a couple more minutes, so let's real quick do our drink and joke. But
all right.
My problem is there were so many things where I wanted to jump in because it was like, we're all so related with everything. And there's like when we were talking about weddings, I wanted to talk about I got married at Governor's and it was nothing but comics there.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife going like, only the best man gives this speech. Because if we hand the mic off, this is going to turn into a fucking open mic.
Oh, yeah. It's going to turn into a roast. Who was your best man?
My brother.
Was your brother? All right.
Yeah.
What brother had to get up and be the only one to speak at a wedding full of comics?
Listen to this. My sister-in-law had the line of the night. She got up and goes, I was so nervous that I had to give a speech, and everybody here on Mark's side is either an actor or a comedian. And I was so nervous that I had to be funny. And then I watched Mark's act and realized you don't have to be funny. Standing ovation.
Hey, Mark, is it true when the minister turned to you to get married, he said, do you, Ronnie Riccadonna's brother, say?
Dude.
I was drinking Johnny Black on the rocks.
Nice.
And I haven't been drinking, and this is my go-to, and I missed it. And I love you so much. I missed you.
And you went Johnny too, right? Look at this. We all went top shelf. I went Tito's.
You went Tito's. All right. And the joke, Paul is apparently a cigar aficionado. And I'm not, but I like a good cigar. And I wanted to talk to him about it, but we never got to it. But here's my joke. You ready?
Yep.
Salesman walks up to a house, knocks on the door. 8-year-old kid answers the door. He's got a glass of whiskey in one hand, an 8-ball of Coke in the other hand, and a cigar in his mouth. The salesman says, are your parents home? The kid takes the cigar out of his mouth and goes, does it look like my fucking parents are home?
That was beautiful. And that was drinks, jokes, and storytelling, people.
Oh, nice.
Sitting in for Justin. Very excited.
Are you going to sing? Get out of here, really? Wow.
I'm pumped. I'm nervous. I can't sing.
Barry Pearl. How about that? Very cool.